Welcome to this video in which I'm going to be talking about the Chicago Booth MBA application essays for this year. So in case you are applying to Booth, make sure that you watch this video till the end. I have a lot of actionable tips for you. So first, let's start off with what is Chicago Booth really famous for? Because see, it's very important for you to understand that each school has its own unique culture, has its own unique ethos, right? So one of the things that really stands out for Chicago Booth is the fact that they have so many Nobel laureates, and they have a very analytical, quantitative approach to finance, and they are very famous for it. Right. So if you are looking at finance being one of the things that you're interested in, and that's something that you want to specialize in, then Chicago Booth would be a top school of your choice. But at the same time, I also want you to think of it in a slightly different light. Now, if you look at all the top schools, be it Harvard or Stanford, they aren't really wanting to be known for one specialization, right? The MBA programs are general management programs. Similarly, what Chicago also Booth also boasts is multiple strengths, right? So it is also committed to expanding its strengths in other disciplines. So I would say, be it product marketing, be it consulting, Chicago Booth should be a place of choice for you. So don't think of it as a pure finance school, and I'm not sure if Chicago Booth will also like it if you treat their MBA program like a master's in finance course, right? That's the thing that you need to keep in mind. One more thing is they have a very flexible curriculum. If you go to their website also, they talk about the fact that what sets them apart, they have what is called as the Chicago approach. The school itself, they have an option to opt out of certain courses, and the university system provides you with the flexibility to take multiple electives across different functions. One more is, I think, again, on the website, if you go, they actually have a very interesting page where they say, what do we look for and what are the ways in which we are going to look for it. So if you see, they say that they look for three things. They look for curriculum. I'm just going to read out the title. We look for applicants who have both the ability and desire to thrive within a challenging and stimulating environment. The qualities we seek for: academic preparedness, intellectual curiosity, communication skills. How are they going to assess that? Your GMAT scores, your GPA, your professional certifications, and a bunch of other ways in which they will assess that. They look at also community. What is community? We look for applicants whose unique personal and professional experience will contribute to a strong, congenial community that supports its members and pushes them to be the best they can be. Again, they have put a list of qualities that they seek for, including things like respect for others. Again, how do they get to know? Through the interview, through your essays, through your other aspects in your applications, like your recommendation letters, for example. And finally, they are looking at career. So what is career? The qualities that contribute to your future success may be evident early in your career. So they are saying that I should have spotted some streak in you, right? There should be something that tells me that this is a potential diamond. They don't want a diamond, but they want some one who has that potential. So they look for a track record of success, resourcefulness. Again, you can look at the website. So they give you a list of things that they look for in your application. Now, with that out of the way, let us look at the application essay questions. What are the essay questions? We essentially have two questions, which is the main two, which is the first one: how will a Booth MBA help you achieve your immediate and long-term post-MBA career goals? Minimum 250 words, no maximum. Now, the first thing that people ask is, Arun, there is no maximum. How many words should I write? Should I write 500 words, 750 words, 1000 words, 1500 words? Here is my answer to you. Write as long as you don't bore the reader. Okay, I think that's the key thing. So if you are going to bore the reader in 300 words, then those 50 words are also an extra for you. But if you are able to keep a person engaged, if your writing is clear, it's lucid, it's cogent, if you're able to build your argument very strongly. So what this essay is really saying is, tell me, give me your, your plan. What's your career plan, right? The way I would look at it is, the question is really asking, why should we select you, correct? In some sense, what is your career plan? Why should we select you? Three parts to it, as with most post-MBA career goals essays. The first, you need to talk about the journey that you have had, though that is a question that is not asked over here. Without mentioning the journey, I think it is impossible for you to mention what your plans are going to be, correct? So first you start off, give a description of your journey. Please don't repeat your resume, don't repeat your CV. Give a sense of how your journey, the narrative of that, right? It's important that they get a sense of flow of who you are as a person. This is going to then segue into the next part, which is, now that you have learned all of this in your life, these are the experiences that you have had, what is it that it's taught you, right? See, many a times what happens is, we don't know what we don't know, correct? So maybe you did not know that you wanted to do an MBA from Chicago Booth 5 years ago, correct? But what has been the things in your career that has got you to this point in life? Which is, you are at this point where you're saying, let me throw away all the comfort that I have and let me plunge into this MBA. What is that burning future that you see? What is that vision that you see of the future? There has to be something that is so compelling for you, right? It could be, I'm just giving you some examples, right? So it could be that you believe in the power of technology changing human lives. If that is what it is, you pretty much have to then go ahead and talk about how you will do that. Is it by being a product manager? Is it by being an entrepreneur? Is it by being a venture capitalist? The routes to getting there could be many, correct? So you need to pick what you want to do in order to get there. So your second paragraph or your second part of the essay is going to be about that vision. And that vision is not just what you want to do in very generic terms, but also, okay, if that is what I want to do, how will I achieve it? That is going to be your second part. And when you are saying how you are going to achieve it, also make sure you talk about your immediate post-MBA career goals, because that very clearly mentioned, which means you need to say that after graduating, what is the kind of position, what is the kind of company, what is the kind of role, what function would you work on, what geography, as much details as possible. Now that you have told this is where you are and this is where you want to go, the third and the most obvious question to ask is, well, how are you going to get there? So now you have a very clear set of requirements that you are going to get from the Booth MBA. Remember, it's not how you will get through an MBA program, any MBA program. They are specifically talking about the Booth MBA program. Now, this is the chance for you to write something that is a personal connect with the school. Don't write generic stuff that could be copy pasted for any other school. For example, whatever you're going to write for Booth, once you have written it, replace Booth with Columbia. If it sounds the same, then probably you got the essays wrong, right? So that's what I would say could be the third part. Now this could be 250, 250, 250, 750, which according to me should be a good length, right? 600, 200, 200, 200, that's also fine, correct? If you want to say, Arun, I have 150, 150, 150, that's also fine. But I would imagine that since you have been given that space, at least use up 500 to 600 words explaining your story, right? With that, let's get to the next essay. But before I get there, in case you are applying to the Chicago Booth MBA program, which is why you're watching this video, I wanted to talk about the crack verbal admission services. So we have alums from top schools who work one-on-one with you on your application. So in case you want to, let us know, just have a chat to understand your profile, please let us know. The details are provided here in the video. So hope to hear from you. Now let's get to the second question. An MBA is as much about personal growth as it is about professional development. In addition to sharing your experience and goals in terms of career, we would like to learn more about you outside of the office. Use this opportunity to tell us something about who you are, minimum 250 words, again no maximum. My advice would remain the same, write 600 words, 800 words, but ensure that you are interesting. Okay, don't bore the reader. Okay, even you can go up to 1000 words, right, for both the essays. I would imagine that this year in Chicago Booth, there will be at least 10-15% of the class who would have written 1000 plus words, right? So it's not going to be a reason for your rejection. Now, what is it that you want to grow personally? Now, here what I would suggest is you try to do a kind of a SWOT analysis, right? So maybe what you want to do is not talk about a bunch of things, but maybe talk about 2 to 3 things, right? Now, what could be these 2 to 3 things? These could be personal. For example, one of the things that you have learned in life perhaps is the fact that today everybody is getting to a point where we are living in a truly global environment. You are expected to work with people across different countries. Maybe at this stage in the career, you want to invest those 2 years growing in terms of your outlook, in terms of your perspective, in terms of, your international exposure, in terms of, the way that you're going to hear other people's perspectives. Now, obviously, if you want to do all of this, you weren't waiting all your life just to apply to Booth to do this. You should have also done some part of it elsewhere in your life, correct? So this could be a cause that you're passionate for, or it could be something that you pursue as a hobby, right? Anything goes. So the way I would look at it is there are 3 broad things that you could do. So one could be a hobby. So a hobby could be anything from photography to let's say music, right, to quizzing. All of that could be a hobby. The second is something that you want to learn, something that you want to do, not as a hobby, but just because it's your interest. For example, you may want to learn a foreign language, correct? You have already learned one language and you want to learn another language. Sounds a lot more plausible than for you to say, I have never learned any language. First time in my life I'm going to learn a language is while I already have the coursework of a B school, right? People understand that may not happen. So you need to plan it out in such a way that, look, I'm going to use my time at Booth. That's what they're looking at. My time at Booth has to be effectively utilized. So that's the part that you need to connect with what you have done. It's not just that part, but how you're going to utilize it. So could be something on your path where it is personal, but it could have maybe, like for example, you want to take a course on something that is totally different because that's been an area of your interest, right? Maybe you are a programmer, but you like to invest, right, in the stock market. So maybe that is something that you want to pursue as a hobby, that you want to do trading, right? So one of the things that you want to do is probably do that along with your MBA, whatever it be, correct? The third thing is what I would say is purely things that you do on a voluntary basis. There is no reason for you to do it. It's not a hobby that gives you enjoyment, or it is not something that is going to enhance you. Right? It could be something as simple as teaching children, right? So maybe you like teaching and you want to teach children, or it could be something as simple as you just want to help your neighborhood community. Maybe you're president of your owners association or welfare association, residents welfare association, not even a president, even a secretary or a worker in that, right? Whatever you like to do with your spare time, that's what they are looking at. They are looking at, is this a guy who goes to work, comes back and does nothing? Because they believe that leaders, people who have high energy, typically will end up doing more than just work. That's the part they are looking at over here. So that's what we have as the 2 essays. You also have an optional essay. Is there any unclear information in your application? What I usually tell about the optional essay is ensure that would there be any questions in the reviewer's mind, in the admission committee's mind, that you can preempt. That is the whole idea of having an optional essay. It is not to try to attract attention towards something that you have done, because usually your application form would have it. So I would not really invest in writing another story over here. Anything in your education or experience that you think you want to mention. Reapplicants, as always, have a question, which is it's focusing how is it that your application has changed, which means you need to focus on the delta between what happened and where you are now, because they just rejected you for some reason. So when you're applying again, you obviously have to go and say, well, from the last time we met, these are the few things that I've had in my life and career. Right, so that's all we have. I think the rest of the application form is self-explanatory. There are 2 recommendation letters, a resume, transcript, GMAT, GRE scores, and everything else. That's all we have. I hope that gave you a lot of insights about how to apply for the Chicago Booth MBA. In case you like this video, please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of content coming up your way. We have essay analysis for the top schools. And if you enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy the other content also. And as always, we would love for you to share this word. Please go ahead and like, and also drop in comments if you have any questions about the Chicago Booth MBA. We will make sure that we will try to answer it as much as possible. Thank you and all the best.